Dear Gateway, God rescued me in the early 1990s. I remember exactly where I was and what I was doing when God revealed himself and hit me right between the eyes like he did the Apostle Paul. In that moment, I became a follower of Jesus Christ, and he changed my life. But it was not all smooth sailing after that. It never is. Divorce was a dagger to my heart. Though I never lacked faith in God, it did affect my church attendance for a long time. I even blamed God for allowing something that horrible to affect my life. I eventually remarried, but that too ended in pain and shame. Having 2 failed marriages can take its toll on a man. In both cases, I was trying to be the man that God wanted me to be. The second blow led me to wanting to leave church completely. I had allowed circumstances to affect my walk with Christ. Just a few years ago, life took a tragic turn once again. While out for a motorcycle ride one day, a distracted driver swerved into my lane and hit me head on. I was left with a broken back, crushed hips. I was like a jigsaw puzzle that needed to be put back together. My internal injuries were too many to count. I coded 4 times and was put into a doctor-induced coma. No, I didn't see any bright white lights, but I did feel like my life on earth here was over, and the doctors thought the same. The trauma from hitting the road and them having to revive me caused me to have to learn to walk and talk all over again, much like a small child. This was brought on all due to someone's distracted driving. I had done nothing wrong. 12 months in a hospital and rehab caused me to re-examine my faith in God. The circumstances that God had me go through were for a reason. I just didn't know what. But the fact that God spared my life meant that he had something else for me to do. During this time, my girlfriend and closest friends deserted me. My recovery and new life was too much for them to bear, so they were gone. My speech is so hard to understand, and my recovery was such a long process that they just left. I now have a dog that shows me unconditional love, something I'm extremely grateful for. God used a distracted driver to show me that I was distracted. He used circumstances in my life to bring me back to him. I could have given up, but instead, my time in the hospital allowed me to reevaluate my life and my connection with God. I decided to choose Christ, not my circumstances. I decided to get out and start meeting new people. God led me to the point where I saw God working in miraculous ways. I saw the people there love on people in amazing ways. Through my exposure to what God was doing in and through them, I suddenly felt an emptiness in my heart. I then met the pastors and people of Gateway, and you all decided to make a difference by giving Thanksgiving meals to the people connected with the point. So I decided to come to a service. Next thing I know, Pastor John came to my house, and long story short, I gave my life fully and completely to Jesus. Through my circumstances, I saw that I needed to choose Christ over everything else. Though God never gave up on me, I had almost given up on him. I now call Gateway home and serve here in many ways. Maybe you have seen me floating around with my camera.
My life is truly a miracle. I have been saved by God physically and spiritually. I now choose Christ over my circumstance on a daily basis. I am so grateful to the Point and to Gateway Church for believing in me and loving me.